What up? What up? What up? Happy Saturday, folks. Peace, blessings, and love from your boy. We are back with another episode of Assembly of Excellence. Let's jump into it.
If you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it bad and then you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you gotta be willing to give up sleep.
What's good? What's good? What's good? All right. Let me make sure I got my shit in order before we jump into this live, man. How everybody feeling tonight? If your answer isn't good or blessed, then we need to reevaluate some things. Straight up. I don't care what the circumstances are. By no means should any words come out of your mouth outside of blessed, because we are definitely that. And that is 1000% fact. All right. Want to make sure we good. We good. I hope all is well with each and every single one of you. I am your host for the evening, Deep Entropy. Welcome back. You know what time it is. We do not hold punches. We do not speak the language of political. We speak our mind. We push the limits, remove the glass ceiling that they put, and we exceed expectations. I will always strive to exceed expectations. Before we get into this live, let me get my flowers ready. Hold on a second. We gotta do this the right way. For every upload, every live stream that I do, there is a balance. There's an enemy. There's a soul right now in doubt of their gift, in doubt of their talents. There's someone who is prepared to give up. There's someone who's questioning their reality, their goals, their mission. They're lost, confused. They don't know whether or not they want to continue on with their life, with their talents. There's people out here genuinely praying for your downfall. They don't want you to elevate. They don't want you to become what you were meant to become. There's folks that genuinely wish you the best. There's a variety of different people out here that really want to see the good and the bad in you. I don't care what walk of life you're from. There's always going to be that one person. I'm here for a specific set of people. I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm not trying to win or garner brownie points. I'm not trying to assert domination or prove that I'm something that I'm not, or I'm not here trying to compete with anyone for anything. I have no desire to prove anything to you or the next person. My goal and my purpose and my mission is to free and heal myself and heal and free other people along the way, and to meet decent people along the way. If my thoughts and opinions and my views do not align with yours, you are more than welcome to exit the building. I'm not going to kiss no one's ass. I'm not going to be a people pleaser. We've spent too much of our life as it is lying into our significant others, our friends, our family. We've spent too much of our life bending and sitting back while evil has taken over, has caused us misery and hurt and pain. We've sat back long enough and allowed the enemy to do what it wants to do with us, with our people. I have nothing to gain or anything to lose by anything that I speak on this camera. I've invested everything into the production, everything into the topic, the thumbnail. This is literally my end all. And God be the glory for why I'm here right now. Because a year ago, this would not have been a conversation. We would not be sitting here right now. Anyone who is watching right now, you're here because something led you to be here. I didn't coerce or beg or push anyone to be present right now. If you're here, it is not by some slim chance or mistake. And before we got some things to talk about, and we're definitely going to talk. I see you, brother, and I'm about to bring you up. I want to give my flowers out. Shout out to my artists, my writers, my content creators, to the people that's fighting every single day to maintain a paycheck, trying to figure out where their next dollar is going to come from. Still toying around with their gifts, going back to school later in life. Shout out to you. Blessings to you. My thoughts and prayers go out to anyone who's lost somebody right now, whether it was a family member or a friend. My heart goes out to you, truly. I don't know a lot of you from a can of paint. That doesn't mean I'm not human. Keep pushing, keep striving. to heal. Keep striving to be better than what you was the day before. Keep fighting to get rid of the evil that's in your heart, the evil that's in your bloodline. Continue to try to break the family curses, break the stereotypes and the narratives that people put on you, put on our community, on our race, whatever walk of life you're coming from. My guest that I'm about to bring up, I'm definitely going to give him the floor. He has more than earned it. He has more than put in his time. You are literally sleeping under a rock if you've never had a conversation with him, if you've never listened to a single word that's come out of his mouth. I spoke on this before, but I'm going to allow or give you the opportunity to see exactly what I was talking about for yourself personally. Blue Flames, the poet, you are up. Hold tight. Let me make sure I got this right. Right. What it do? What it do? What it do? What it do?
Hey, what's good, man? What's good? Happy to be here once again for another
What is good, my
podcast.
brother?
Oh man. Nah, I've been doing good though. I'm hanging in there. Staying blessed up as always.
I can't hear you, sir. If you saying something, I can't hear you. Leave out and come back in. It might be that.
Oh, hold up. You can hear me now?
Hold tight. See if you can leave out and come back in. Matter of fact, let me see if I can. Let me see something. For whatever reason, you probably can hear me, but I can't hear you. Let me try this. Yo, yo, yo.
You can hear me now?
I see the audio thing moving around your picture, but I can't hear you. You might have to leave out and come back in.
Alright.
We got a little audio situation. We're gonna get that fixed real quick. And we got some shit to talk about tonight. We definitely about to get into it. Like I said, the things that I try to speak on is there we go. There we go.
How about now?
Yo, 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 yo.
You can hear me
Yeah, you
now?
good. You
Alright,
good.
cool.
Yeah, you yeah, I can hear you now.
Alright, man. But
What
yeah, like
what
I was saying though,
what's good? What's
uh once again, like I said, I'm blessed as always. I'm blessed to be here. I'm happy to do another podcast episode, and oof, given the topic that we're about to get into, Ooh, we gonna have some words to say on this one.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's not like I want to see something and kind of brush it off as if yeah, it happens a lot. I shouldn't really focus on it too much. But when you see certain things like this, especially, it's hard to ignore it. I just I just refuse to, sweep it under the rug like it's supposed to be normal. So yeah, man, I got the clip. I'm gonna play it, and yeah, we gonna jump into it. But before we do all that, man, go ahead and let the people know who you is, and anything you want to get out there before we jump into it.
No problem, man. Well, first and foremost, for those who don't know, for those who are watching this, I go by Blue Flames the Poet. I am a poet. It's in the name itself. And when I write, I speak on everything. I talk about everything, including myself, because I'm very passionate about how much better I would love to see things in the world, how I see myself in the world, how I see people in the world. I also want to apply that to other avenues of where I want to take my poetry, where I want to take my words. And this is one of those cases. This is one of those things that I can do that, to have an outlet, to be able to speak on how I feel, where my mind is at, and express my true feelings on my point of views. Because whether you disagree with me, whether you agree with me, at the end of the day, as long as you can take what I say and come to an understanding of where I'm coming from, that's all I ever want out of all of this. Because I could be passionate, but I'm also compassionate about this stuff too. So for those of y'all
Absolutely,
who are
absolutely.
watching, who are listening, tune in. You're going to get a hell of a lot.
Oh yeah. If you're not familiar with any of the conversations that we've had over the last few weeks, you definitely need to pull up because we've definitely had some very, very grown folk conversations, if you know what I mean. Um, honored and privileged to have you on here, bro. We're not going to keep the people. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and when you ready, we can just jump into it. 1 second.
All right, man.
Now, for the people who are watching, and I want you to keep in mind that what I'm about to play is not a dramatization. It's something that happens in our neighborhoods quite frequently. It's something that we see on the news a lot. Yeah, these are subject matters that we should pretty much be acquainted with in 2023. But I want you to understand that just because these things happen and they're common does not make it right or make it something that you can just sweep under the rug. So put yourself in these people's shoes when you watching this. And I'm about to play it right now.
That was that trouble, man. Hey, what? Hey, y'all got around here. Hey, show with that motherfucking giant outside. I gotta get him off your point. Hey, hell, that bitch is shot with them giant in that motherfucking yard, man. Hey, y'all got yeah. Just sitting right there, man. Sitting right there, that way. What nobody see us, man? We just went out one of those, man. We didn't go that way.
Yeah, that
Bro,
just
that was
happened.
insane.
You not delusional. That wasn't scripted. That actually just happened. Initially, when you saw this video, bro, what came to your mind? How do you feel about that entire footage?
After seeing that, nah, like you was just saying, it's become commonplace at this point that we've become desensitized to the fact that violence like this happen on a daily.
Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. You cut out. You cut out. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you.
Wait, hold on. You can hear me?
I can't hear you,
Can you hear
bro.
me? I gotta leave and come back in again.
Leave out and come back in. I don't know what happened. You saw the video. That shit is I don't even know where to start with that. I'm a I'm gonna wait for my bro to pull back up. All right, there he is. I see, bro.
I'm good.
All right, we good. Yeah,
All right. I mean,
the floor is
hey,
yours.
technical difficulties or not, the topic is the topic. We're gonna get into it however we can. Because now what I was just saying is that when I saw that clip, yeah, it's easy for something like this to get swept under the rug, that it's become commonplace that we've became so desensitized to it. It's like another day, another shooting in the neighborhood. If we're just talking about neighborhood shootings. And I'm like, as much as any of us will want to get our minds off that or try to forget about the fact that this is even happening, how can we do that? We see something like this go viral, or we actually see it happen in person right in front of us. How are we supposed to go about our lives not thinking about that things like this can happen? It can happen to any one of us. Seeing this clip And them dudes went on and pulled a drive-by, started blasting, and kids was outside. One of them could have easily got shot. It's like they don't even give a damn that kids was outside playing. They spun the block, pull a drive-by on them, not a care in the world that the kids are outside. And for what? Trying to shoot up at the people that's on the porches or something? Or those are supposed to be warning shots? Are you serious right now? Like, how is it that things like this can happen on a daily basis, and it always seemed like that there's never going to be a resolution to something like this. There's not going to be resolve any solutions for these circumstances that happen, because anybody who get caught in the crossfire that doesn't deserve to die, that's something that the shooters got to live with for the rest of their life. It's like I was just saying, how it's insane to see something like that and to see it go viral like that. I'm like, can we try to find other ways to resolve issues without resorting to that? Because knowing that anybody could take away a life, especially those who don't deserve it, those who get caught in the crossfire, those who would even step in the way or step in the line of fire just to protect someone else. Like, why is it that this type of violence got to be an ongoing thing? Why is it that it had to be an ongoing topic that catches wind and the media and the news? They pick up on it, they talk about it, they address it, or they call themselves trying to address that, but then it seemed like it's left up to us, for those of us who actually care about these matters going down, who care about these issues happening, that when we talk about these circumstances in elaborate conversations, discussions, we expect changes to happen in terms of how we handle ourselves out there in the world. But if it's going to come to the point that we resort to that kind of violence, to to the point where we going on just taking shots at anybody and we could just kill anybody at any moment, just shed blood everywhere unnecessarily, just to prove ourselves, as if that's supposed to be the rest of our lives. Like, that's what we got to resort to. Violence is the thing doing the talking. It's not us trying to come to a resolution over it by having a conversation. Things like this does not require conversation. It doesn't. It's the bullets that do the talking. For all that death, for all that bloodshed, for all people who find themselves in the crossfire of all that, in the midst of all that, especially if it was like warring factions going on, anybody can catch it. Seeing something like that, it it doesn't just hurt me, it disappoints me. Something like that, seeing something like that will always hurt me. It hurts me to know that, because things like this can still happen on a daily basis and they can happen to anybody. Sometimes for the rest of us, It's like we don't stop to think about that because it's commonplace, but we don't believe it to happen to us when it can happen to any one of us when we're not careful. If we're not careful, we don't pay attention to these things and we get caught in the midst of all that. How are we going to handle ourselves in that situation? All there is going to be panic, anxiety, knowing that any one of us can catch that at any moment when we least expect it. Anything like that could pop off at any moment, and we the ones getting hurt or getting killed over that because we don't pay attention, because we don't check our surroundings, because we don't take precaution to make sure that we are safe. To be in an environment like that where anybody can catch one, anybody, even when it comes down to the kids. The fact that they were shooting and kids was there. And they were young, young kids. Here we go hearing about young people getting killed over gun violence all the time at this point. I mean, we hear about it when it comes to the music side of things. We tend to hear about young people getting killed over stuff like this. We hear about young people getting killed in the crossfire over stuff like this. And it's like it doesn't hit us until it happens to us. It's because we're seeing it, we're hearing about it, we're reading about it, and because it's not happening to us at the moment, that is like, okay, we know about this, we got knowledge of this, but we're just moving on from it like it's nothing. I mean, granted, the rest of us got our lives to worry about, we got our lives to think about and think about how we're moving in life individually. I get that, but at the same time, how we moving in life depends on how we think. It depends on how conscious we are when it comes to matters like these. Because things like this can happen to any one of us. And if we don't stop to think about that, let alone act on it sooner to really bring that into focus, then we've already lost, let alone losing our lives to it. Things like this should not go unheard of, not spoken about, and definitely not being briefly mentioned, glossed over, looked over as if it doesn't matter, because it does. Anybody who gets caught in the line of fire like that, anybody who gets caught in the line of fire like that, that's a wake up call. A wake up call to know that you only got one life on this planet. You got one life to live. And if you're not careful, you're done. You never know when it's going to happen. But when it happens, that's it. This is one of those cases where it would be exactly that. Knowing that any one of those kids could have gotten killed because of that. Seeing something like this is horrible. It's like they didn't have a care in the world. It's like they just doing it to prove something or doing it for the hell of it, just so they can say that they run these streets, they run these blocks, they run these neighborhoods because that's the only life they know. But yeah, man, that's the thing that really got me, knowing that them kids was out there and they were very young. Any one of them could have caught that.
Hey, look, I agree with you 1000%. And this is how I feel about it. At what point does this shit get redundant and old? You know, our grandparents and their parents, they got beat, hung, they got spat on. We didn't have certain privileges. We had to do things that were humiliating. We didn't even have rights to our own life. Literally spending hours upon hours in the hot ass sun, getting beat, being used as sex toys, as pieces of trash to appease a race that always, for whatever reason, looked at us as if we were inferior to them. Even to this day, they still do. And with all the bullshit that our ancestors went through, for all the people who died preaching that we can be better, for all the people who died preaching, let's come together and get rid of the madness, the hate, the ignorance. Let's remove the blinders. Let's remove the ego. We have nothing but utterly disrespected every single person that's laid down their life so that we could have one. I'm angry. I'm embarrassed. A lot of times I don't even like my skin. For the people who are watching or will watch and you say, "Oh, you don't like your people, you're a sellout, you this, that, and then third," kick rocks. Because this is how I see it. I'm not pro black, pro white. I'm not pro anything. I'm pro human. If you're a human being, you bleed, you experience birth, you've had birthday parties, you've had family and friends laugh and cry with you, if you've gone to proms and you've had barbecues and you've done things that humans typically do, if you've experienced any type of joy in life, if you've got any capacity to understand right and wrong, there's no fucking way, and I'm gonna probably use a lot of foul language. There's no fucking way you're gonna make me normalize the shit that we just watched. Or I'm supposed to be proud that more black people are, creating this stereotype that the only way we can deal or manage disagreements is through violence and death. Well, where has that gotten anyone? How has that worked out for you? The enemy of your enemy is either dead or in jail. And if God, has mercy on you, you might come out of that to serve under his calling. But for the most part, you'll eventually be joining the person that you thought didn't deserve to breathe anymore. You'll be right along with them. And then more family members will cry. More loved ones will want revenge. More white people will joy up, throw parties, succeed in dismantling the community through subliminally provoking and instigating and inciting violence amongst us. What is the prize here, folks? Tell me what you win. Oh, I'm a man. You're not going to just talk to me any kind of way. Oh, I'm a man. I ain't backing down from you. You ain't gonna talk to me like that in the front of this woman. I'm a man. You ain't gonna come on my block and sell drugs, poisoning my community. Only I can be on my block and sell drugs and poison my community. How dare you do what I'm doing? You hear the fucking idiocy, the logic in that dumb shit, and then you be the same people trying to school someone, give wisdom and drop knowledge to children on how to be women and how to be men. What are we winning here, folks? Black people are scared of black people. White people are scared of black people. Asian people are scared of black people. We damn near don't even want to be around each other. We hate each other that much. Now, I mean, shit, you that hateful and you that angry at someone for something that you're willing to shoot at fucking little kids. Is that what we doing? I mean, hell, you've already killed kids. You've already done it. You've already shot down 9-year-olds, infants. You've already fucking put them in pine boxes before their time. All over a dude fucking your girl or someone stepping on your shoe, or someone saying something snarky in a fucking comment, because it's too weak for a person to turn their back and walk away. Oh nah, heaven forbid we do that. Heaven forbid we use the police, the people that we pay our tax dollars to. I know damn well every year you wait on that IRS tax return. You pay taxes. Where do you think your money is going to? You're paying for these people to do their job, whether or not you believe in them or you don't believe in them. You're paying them to do their job, but you would rather take matters into your own hands, right? But where is that getting us? I'm so sick of seeing shit like that, and I'm so sick. Like the shit is crazy to me. And what makes it worse is that these same folks that's doing this shit on a regular basis, there's people that's standing out on the corners right now, looking over their shoulders, looking for their ops to drive in unmarked cars. They're literally outside 24 hours a day, wasting their fucking life away, selling drugs, killing the people. Do you love yourself? Do you love your race? Do you love people? Or did the devil just completely consume and take over your fucking life? Which one is it? Do you hate God? Do you have beef with God for the way you was brought up? Do you have issues with him for not getting you out of the life that you're in? Are you angry at your parents for fucking you up? I mean, I really want to know, like, what are we doing here? Why the fuck every time we watch the news or we turn to something, there's some crazy shit like this all the time? Look, man, and I turn it back to you. This ain't gonna be the first or the last time we come across a story like this. So I wanna say this. I don't respect anyone who so scared and so fearful of walking a a life of righteousness. You would rather walk in sin and in death than walk in truth, be free of the heaviness and the wickedness. You would rather look over your shoulder for the rest of your life, wondering when the bullet is going to come, wondering when someone is going to push you over the edge. You would rather be angry, miserable, bitter. You would rather hurt and destroy people's life than give life to help life reproduce more life. You would rather be a part of the problem than be a solution to it. I don't claim you. I don't know you. I pray for you. But I want you behind bars. I want the judge to give you the proper sentence. I pray that God moves in your soul and uses you the way that he always intended you to be utilized. But I don't want you on the street. You don't deserve to be out here on the street. You're a nightmare. You've destroyed children's hopes and dreams. You've turned them into monsters, into hoes, into statistics. You're the reason why children are being just like you. You can blame the government, you can blame police, you can blame society all you want. But you are a part of the problem. Every day that you get about your bed at 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, you get that phone call from your supplier and you'll connect and you go to meet them somewhere in a secret location to go get your product, to go out here and pump it out here to the street. You are just as guilty as the politicians that fuck us up. You got all this hate and all this energy and this desire to just put down anyone that you feel is a threat to your diluted thinking in terms of what life is supposed to look like, that you will sacrifice any and everyone other than the people who are keeping you in impoverished communities. You will kill and destroy everyone except for the people who are in positions of power to keep you spending ridiculous amounts of money every single day on shit that should be coming to us way cheaper and way fair. You won't do nothing about the people that's in the office, but you will definitely do something to somebody around the corner. You got all the gunpowder, all the power and arsenal to take down street gangs and hoods and all this shit. You got your rules, you got your flags, you got all this shit going on. But when it comes to the real enemies, and I'm talking about the enemies within, you're a fucking coward. The real enemy is the one that you just look into the mirror every day. That's the real enemy. You know why? Because you're walking around with demons and devils in you every single day, and you won't fight them off. You won't pray to get rid of them. You won't go the extra mile to destroy or try to get them out of you so that you can be a decent person. But you will embrace that shit and then go out here and spread it further. You are a joke. You are not respected, and I'm just over it.
Hmm. Things like this are a lot to think about. I mean, to put it this way, anybody who turns to a life like that, who turns to a lifestyle like that, they black out till they see red. They black out till they spill red. That type of lifestyle, you had to think like it's a chess game. Yet, if you're going to be moving sloppy, getting people caught in the crossfire that shouldn't even be, only then you're thinking checkers. Because everything about that life is about every move you're making every single day on borrowed time, because anytime you're going to get yours. Anytime you could easily get yours. Anytime you could cost someone else's life, because the power of the gun is meant to be the power in your hands. But when you got that power and you're responsible for what happens, to when you use that power, abuse that power for that matter, you're the individual giving that weapon more legitimacy in terms of how we're usually perceived. Because when it's us, we're the ones that's violent. We're the ones that's looked at as a bunch of animals. We're the ones that's looked at as providing entertainment for that kind of violence. That type of lifestyle and conversations like this has been brought up, right? Lifestyles like this has been glorified. Lifestyles like this has been glorified because we've been desensitized to it. And like I was saying earlier, going back to the music aspect of it, especially for how we're getting it now, right? Especially for how we're getting it now, how it seemed like it's such a cool thing, a trending thing, a buzzworthy thing to talk about how you gonna slide on this app. You're gonna spin the block on this dude. You dealing, you hustling. You call yourself providing for the community when really you are killing it. You're killing the people in it. In the process of possibly getting yourself killed. The longer you're alive, slowly but surely, you're killing yourself in the process for living that kind of lifestyle. So much so that if you're willing to spray,
Shit like that, bro.
if you're willing to spray like that, knowing that anybody can get caught up in the mess because you drag them into it, because you make them fear for their lives, because all it takes is one time to scar somebody for life when situations like that happens. All it takes is one time. All it takes is one time. One time, that's trauma for the rest of your days. But hell, you go through something like that multiple times, especially if you're the one that's living the life, that want to call yourself being a part of that lifestyle, that's trauma for you every second of the day. Because you got to keep a lookout, because you got to keep looking over your shoulder, because you got to sleep with one eye open. How you call that living? You're basically living to die, but quickly, more quickly than you think. And yeah, I just said how the more you live that life, the more you slowly killing yourself in the process. But it could also be that the more you live this life, the faster the chances are for you to get caught in the line of fire where your life is gone before you can even get a chance to fully fulfill what your life could have been. Especially if you are a person who's involved in that lifestyle that actually has a promising life ahead. Actually, before you even get into that life, you already had something promising going for you. But you decide to take on that lifestyle because it's something quicker, it's convenient. You want to be able to chase after what you want real quick. So you take on that lifestyle to get what you want. But that also means you got to step over other people to get it, kill other people to get it, manipulate people to get it. And the messed up part about it is when we hear about people who's known to be about that lifestyle, but they actually do want to make changes for themselves after they came to terms and dealt with the truth about how they were living before, and that they actually wanted to do better for themselves and actually provide for the community in a much better way, a much healthier way, a, a way where it feels like this is what you're supposed to do to contribute to the community, to society, to actually give people hope, to actually give people a reason to give a damn about living. Set the example of showing people how to actually live life. Recognize the power that you have in yourself to be able to do better for yourself and bring that same energy to others. Give people a reason to live, to really live, to truly live, because the lifestyle of you running, hiding, gunning for it, that ain't living. You're just living on borrowed time every second of the day, the longer you are part of that life, right? But when we hear about people who's a part of that lifestyle, who was a part of that lifestyle, and actually wanted to make things better for themselves, therefore, make the changes necessary for people to come to recognize that and that they're contributing in a much healthier way, in a much better light. That when you got dudes that still living that lifestyle, they want to get what that person got. They willing to kill them for it. They willing to kill them for it. They want to take them down to get what they got. But then, if they wanted so much to have that, call themselves wanting to have a better life, willing to kill somebody for it, how is that living? Because still, they're not. I just feel like the more we talk about things like this, the more we discuss issues like this, the more likely people will feel like we've been discussing this too much now. It's too much. We don't want to think about it no more. We don't want to think about it on a daily basis. We don't want to we don't want to stress ourselves over all of this. For the rest of us who hear about it, read about it, we see it because we just want to go about our lives. But again, it circles back to it's all a matter of knowing that when we do notice these things happening, we have to be cautious about how we move it. We have to be cautious about how we move in their life as individuals because anything like this could pop off anywhere. It could pop off anywhere. Just because we're used to seeing, reading about it, hearing about it in neighborhoods that usually has that activity going down, that doesn't mean it ain't gonna spread everywhere else. Because it can. Anything could pop off at any moment. We never know. We never know until it actually happens. Then what? Now we're scared for our lives because we didn't feel the need to want to really dive in and pay attention to stuff like this, because when things like this can happen to any one of us, if we're not careful, when we're not careful, not paying attention to this, and the moment it happens, it's too late by then. Anybody who calls themselves wanting to live that life, or call themselves wanting to talk about that life, even when it means they want to try to put that into music as if they're about that life, because like I just said, it's glorified. It's glorified because all of a sudden you got people profiting off of that. Here we go, having the industry profiting off of music like that. Now, how is that supposed to solve the issues like that we deal with when that gets promoted? Anything like that gets promoted, how is that solving anything? All it's really doing is perpetuating more of that violence. And then when social media comes into the picture, the news comes into the picture, everybody that catches wind of it, are there really going to be discussions about it, or is it just entertainment? Because now it seems like it's leaning more towards entertainment. It's one thing to address the issue, but it's a matter of how we handle the issue. We treat it as entertainment, then we're just adding to the problem. We entertain that, we're a part of the problem. Especially when you bring social media into it. For those people who are entertained by stuff like that, that's a horrible way to think. That's a horrible way to think about things. Because then when it actually happens, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, this actually happened for real. It's not just done online now. They're trying to take it to the streets for real, for real. They really about that now. Yeah, you got those people who want to talk about that stuff, but they just gangsters online. But when you actually got people that talk about that, they blast it online, but then they blast each other for real, then what? Are we going to continue to entertain the problem? Because when it comes to social media, it seems like that's the case. That has been the case. People would rather be entertained by this than talking about it as a serious matter. Especially if they call themselves looking at someone that they like, right? They call themselves looking up to someone that they talk about the life. And it could be to the point where they glorify it, or they talk about the life in a manner where it's like, okay, now they're trying to take things seriously, because the truth of the matter is that lifestyle ain't for everybody. Either way, either way, when they look at people like that talks about that lifestyle, but then they find out the end result of what really goes down when it comes to that, then they want to act like, oh, this is real. Nah, but how can you say that now when before you was entertaining it? You was entertaining it because you just want the escapism of it all. But when the reality sets in, then all of a sudden, oh, now it's clicking for you? Too late for that. It's too late for that. All of a sudden it starts clicking for you the moment you realize, oh, this is real. This is real. When before you was entertaining it as a way of escapism. Instead of addressing the issue in a manner where you actually care about trying to have a better resolve for situations like this, instead of thinking like that, you're adding to the issue. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it won't happen to you. It can happen to you at any time. You never know when you're not careful. And how about the fact that when you got people who blast that stuff online, that all you're really doing is setting yourself up to get killed or to get locked up. The moment you put it out there, it's over with. And because we tend to get this information out there quick like that, it's over with. Ain't no hiding it now. You put it out there, that's it. It's done. The damage is done. You brought it on yourself for bringing that heat that you put out there circling back to you. It's horrible to know that for anyone who goes about that lifestyle, they think that's supposed to be the easy way out. Then people catch wind of it. And a lot of times we hear people entertaining the problem instead of trying to solve the problem. Other people look at the problem and say, okay, we're going to talk about this, we're going to address this, only for it to be shoved under the rug until the next until the next one pops off, and then it's spoken about again, only for the next one to happen, then it's spoken of again, only for the next one to happen, and the cycle continues on and on and on. When is there going to be a resolve to these issues? To resort to violence, you're not speaking with words. Violence becomes the language you speak. You're allowing the violence to be more legitimate. You're letting the weapons be more legitimate. You, yourself, are letting the stereotypes, for starters, the stereotypes, the statistics be legitimate. In terms of how these matters are talked about, how it's been put out there, where are the solutions? When is there going to be a time that these guys really get a chance to look at themselves and see the wrong they've done, knowing that for the rest of their lives, that blood is on their hands? Or they wait too late to come to that realization, only for their lives to be taken before they even got a chance to really see what life could be like if they find themselves on the right path. Yes, it's difficult to talk about these things. It's heartbreaking. It's hurtful. And yeah, it's the type of thing that pisses me off too. But at the end of the day, man, it all comes down to the individuals who find themselves in that lifestyle, who want to call themselves wanting to be a part of that lifestyle. That's just something to keep in mind. Is it worth the cost of your life? That should be the question that's on every one of their minds. Is it worth the cost of your life? Because once you put yourself in that position, you basically signed away your freedom. You're allowing the devil to work you, pimp you out. You're allowing that evil to continue to spread. And even if you want to call yourself trying to do it for the greater good, that's just something that you see in your head instead of understanding the truth of the matter. If you can't even come to terms with the truth of how that is easily a lie, you've already been digging a much deeper hole than you realized. But yeah, man,
You know,
I
you
could go
know,
on and on with this, but yeah.
I know. I want to just say this, and we'll conclude for me because this is it's, this is something that's going to be of conversation when our children's children is playing outside in the park. You know what I mean? It's not going to stop here, unfortunately. Um, Humans are so selfish and so consumed by the world that they've gotten misled into believing in things that aren't necessarily, how they say, if you look at the the mirror on your passenger on your driver's door, it says objects in mirror are closer than they appear.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what the spiritual realm is. And I spoke about this yesterday about how we really don't know what we're walking with, who we are walking next to, what is in our proximity, because we only looking from uh, a fleshly point of view
Surface level.
until, yeah, exactly, until people understand that and accept it and actually embrace the reality that we are walking amongst angels and demons on a regular basis, and our way of dealing with the things that's happening is not cutting it at all. We're not going to get very far. The people who have orchestrated, and that's why I say people are evil, man, because The people who have kind of orchestrated all of this destruction are the same ones who are living behind gated communities, never having to worry about a single dollar, never having to worry about bills ever again in life. They are set. Their families are set. They are the ones that are responsible. Their ancestors are responsible. It's it's very sad, man, that we can't recognize who is really the enemy and who really isn't the enemy, and we'll continue to fight amongst ourselves, lost, misguided. We're basically just pawns on the board being moved by other entities controlling the game pieces. That's all it really is. To answer your question, there are answers. There are definitely solutions to the problem that we face. One, this community here, us, others like us, we could actually go to council meetings, board meetings. We could actually report the crimes that's going on in our faces instead of ignoring them. We can rally everyone together, create neighborhood watches. We could look out for each other's families. I could keep an eye out on your home. They could keep an eye out on my home. We could protect our little ones by putting away the people who are doing all the crimes away. I don't care if it's your family or not. If they should be held responsible, they should be held responsible. We can do it. There's millions of comments from different places all over the world where people have all of these different feelings towards the stuff that's going on. So there are solutions, there are answers, there are things that can be done. Like this conversation is not necessarily for nothing. There's things that can be done here, but now we turn it over to everyone else. Now the ball is in your court. What are you going to do now? Because the reason why I bring these stories up is because I want to remind you, and I want to keep shoving it in your face. Shit is not pretty out here. Everything is not just rainbows and unicorns. You're not going to keep on trying to wiggle your way around this shit and ignore it and act like this shit is not hurting us. I want you to hear it. I want you to see it. Remember it. Memorize it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that, though.
And before we go, I just wanted to say this too. You know, the whole point of asking these questions and being able to have solutions to these questions is the reason why these discussions happen in the first place. That's the whole point. Because important matters like these, They can't be ignored. Matters like these, they are not forgotten. They can't be. We may have a bunch of things circulating within the zeitgeist right now, but when these circumstances come up, ain't no ignoring that. The many times we hear about it, read about it, we see it, therefore, it can't be ignored. Doesn't matter how much we want to escape from it, there's no escaping the reality, the truth of it all. There's but so much escapism we can have in the world, in our lives. Conversations like these are meant to be had. There's no purpose of even talking about these things if we don't even address it. The ball is in all of our
That's a
courts.
fact.
It's up to us to talk about it and do something about it. Whichever way, however, which way we can. Something got to be done. And it has to be said.
Wake up, people. What is it going to take? How much more do you got to see? How much more do you have to feel? How much? What's the barrier? What's the breaking point? When is enough enough? Hey man, we're gonna keep talking about this until we see some results.
That much is true.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege, first of all, to have some sense of freedom of speech, even though they're trying to censor us, but to still be able to express ourselves openly like this while we can. I'm going to take advantage of it. I appreciate you, man, for your wisdom, for your wise words, for your time and your energy. It takes a lot of energy to exert and express and articulate your feelings on matters like this. People don't really take into consideration how much you have to pour out. But in order for someone to do what you just did, you have to have some sense of compassion, empathy for what's going on out here in the world. So shout out to you, man. I appreciate you as always for pulling up. It's always a pleasure having you on here, man.
No doubt, man. Anytime, I got you.
Right on, right on. Salutes to everybody who pulled up. Uh, you know, I will be doing something tomorrow before we get ready for this week coming up. I know Thanksgiving is right around the corner. You got anything going on? You hanging out with family? You going out of town? What's up?
Oh yeah, for me, uh, well, of course, I'm gonna be with family, but for me, and actually, this happened for the past couple years now. Post pandemic and whatnot. It's just been me and my immediate family because it was a change of pace, and it actually worked out for the better because it's always it's always something where it's like, okay, we gotta hustle to try to make moves for what we're gonna do when Thanksgiving come around, trying to meet up with family from all over. It's a lot. It's a lot. This time we've been keeping it simple, and I like that. I rather keep it that way because I can still enjoy the holiday regardless.
Right on, right on. I ain't mad at that. Our partner in crime, his birthday was today, so he had to uh make some rearrangements with his loved ones. They wanted to take him out. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, hey man, enjoy your birthday, brother. Celebrate a little bit for me too, because I don't really be celebrating my birthday. Not at this point in life. Like I stopped at 16, so have fun for all of us.
Hey man.
Yeah.
I, well, yeah, I definitely hope that he is enjoying his day today. Because I was wondering why he didn't pop up to this, but it was like, you know what? I'm not going to stress about it because as long as we still get through this, I'm sure he'll catch up on it, get a chance to see this when he can. But he got a life too. He got a life to live just like we all got our lives to live. So it's not like we're knocking that whatsoever. I'm not doing that. I hope he enjoyed his day today. I hope he stays blessed up. I hope that after today, he continues to do him. And yeah, when it comes to celebrating birthdays these days, you start to wonder, do I even feel like celebrating anymore? Sometimes you may have that bit of celebratory energy in you
Yeah.
to want to do something. Sometimes you may have that. Other times you feel like, it's just another day for me, but I know what the day is. I know what it is at this point. I'm still celebrating. I'm just doing it in my own way now because I'm still blessed to be alive. I'm still happy about that. At this point, the way I celebrate my birthdays now, that's how I go about it. I'm still happy to be blessed that I'm alive, that I'm still here, and I still got more life to live, you know? That's the most important thing to me.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Hey man, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and jump up off this joint, man. I'm about to prepare for uh I ain't about to tonight. I'm about to relax and finish watching Maze Runner. um Definitely trying to set something up for oh yeah, no, yeah. I watched this. Oh, I watched this at least 10 times already. Not back to back, but um, yeah, it's movie night. I'm just chilling once I get off of here. But definitely trying to set something up for next week, man. I'll hit you up. Let me know, and yeah, we'll get back up in here again.
Well, you know me. I'm always on the lookout. Whenever you reach out, I'll be there to check in.
Salute, salute. All right, folks. This is Assembly of Excellence signing out. Y'all have a blessed evening. Catch y'all on the flip side. Take care of yourself. And if we don't speak, happy Thanksgiving and blessings to you and your loved ones.
Peace out, y'all.